Ladies and gentlemen, please buckle up belts because I'm going to reveal makes the Kardashian family appear to be a bit. Footage of a community theater drama. Yes. King Harris is the son of T, a legendary rapper. I just dropped a crazy, emotional bomb. It was awful and had admirers holding their pearls, shedding tears in the comments and pondering if in reality life is a betting soap opera. We are discussing his alleged goodbye. Furthermore, this isn't one of the usual influencers I follow leaving for moments of self-care only to return 2 days later to promote detox teasing. This was unfiltered. It was heavy. So intense that even the creators of Netflix were most likely in a whisper. How Dow transformed this man's suffering into a constrained series. Imagine it. Physicians hurrying in, fans and family members suppressing their tears, shouting and becoming crazy, asking, "Is this genuine?" While Twitter changed the entire experience into a meme circus all night. If Shakespeare were still living presently, he would most likely say, "Even I couldn't come up with such a convoluted plot." However, believe me, after you hear the whole tale, you'll see that this wasn't only a goodbye. It was the type of disorder that keeps bloggers up at night, feeds tabloids, and forces your inquisitive cousin to send the link enclosed in 7 exclamation points. The controversy exploded on the internet, having a barbecue with my family. King Harris, already well known for rap royalty. Anarchy, turmoil, and meltdowns worthy of memes. Discover a dosation oneself at the heart of what supporters dubbed the goodbye circus quite swiftly. This is how it is set up. King already attracts attention, goes public with a goodbye that seemed to be a combination of confession and part tragedy from Shakespeare's speech at retirement. It's 3 parts, I am aware. However, welcome to the math of King Hera. When reality is multiplied, divided, in record time, they became memes. As the reports came in. Physicians were involved, relatives were in a hurry, and there was more tension in the room. Unlike a Drake versus Kendrick diss song, some swore it, while others claimed he collapsed. Was set up to gain influence. And naturally, the self-described internet specialists merged, using Twitter to diagnose him Instagram lives and weaves like they were going to Grey's Anatomy auditions. The initial leaks depicted a situation that was disorganized and, to be honest, a little darkly humorous. Supporters were yelling, "Don't go, King." As he said, some candles were lit on Teak to refresh TMZ. There were already other people editing. Dramatic parting scenes with melancholy piano tunes. Then there were the noisy minority of skeptics who inquire, wait, is this merely another PR stunt for the Harris family? Stunt? Let's not mince words. The Harris clan is known for something. From reality television explicits to broadcast pandemonium in real time, their family drama is more interesting than baked mac and cheese for Thanksgiving with rumors. Thus, when King declared his fans were divided after the final farewell, do they cry or reach for popcorn? Next came the leaks. Based on references and B sources, that is, the buddy of your cousin barber who claims to have witnessed it live. King had composed heartfelt letters that read more akin to a Hollywood screenplay than authentic life. Lines like these that make you leave. Did Shakespeare ghostwrite this? Fans on the internet said the atmosphere was half reality TV, half hospital Senate confessional. Tiny, his family, and it was said that everyone was keeping it together. Similar to duct tape on a damaged chair. Next, physicians hurried in, and all of a sudden it became a complete cliffhanger. Here's the twist, though. The general public disagreed over what they were observing. Was it a legitimate medical procedure? Crisis, a breakdown in emotions, or the next love and hip-hop storyline twist spin-off? And to be honest, that's precisely why this moment went viral on the internet. The ambiguity. One group of people pledged they observed genuine anguish in his eyes, while another stated that he was hinting at a new single, Final Farewell remix. Memes were taken filing quicker than Kris Jenner characteristics of a newborn grandchild. King Harris was even altered by someone to appear on the Titanic. Fans waving goodbye shouted, "Don't let go." Let's now discuss initial reactions. Sorry, Twitter, come on though. No one calls it, that entered complete meltdown mode. Hashtags such as hashtag final and hashtag prayerfork. King farewell became more popular. Tana. Subtweet feud between Cardi and Nicki. Teak fans were crying all over. Toke and transforming his farewell into a dance remix difficulties. YouTubers were already releasing phony teary reaction videos and grabbing headlines such as, I think the king did this. Even famous people couldn't help but dive in. A few sent prayers and love. Some made jokes. One rapper who prudently chose to remain anonymous claimed, "This man's farewell got more plays than my last mixtape." Savage, but let's take a moment to relax. Secondly, King Harris has consistently resided in energy, ranging from live stream battles to flaming professional-sounding clapbacks written.
He has experience with controversy. He feels comfortable there.
Thus the notion that he may have manufactured or exaggerated this, not very shocking. But good by. This is when things start to get interesting. Even the skeptics acknowledged that the feeling struck this time, it was different. His voice broke. The hospital and his family are in a frenzy. Background. It didn't seem practiced. Filters, no PR gloss, just unpolished and unto reality. As a result, fans were unable to turn away. Things became even more complicated when rumors began to circulate that this wasn't only about drama or health. Some made insinuations it had to do with old feuds, inner conflicts, and the debilitating force of Imagine being born into a family of hip-hop aristocracy, T.I.'s shadow as a child. Attempting to uphold the Harris legacy at every turn. Becomes a meme that goes viral. That's sufficient. To shatter anyone, however. Therefore, when the fans leaked the alleged final farewell. Were divided between sadness and suspicion. Did King bid farewell to life or simply to the previous iteration of himself? A call for peace, a PR makeover. In any case, the internet exploded. TikTok stitching, Instagram life, deep dives on YouTube. All of a sudden become knowledgeable about King's mental health. If the first section was a pilot for a tumultuous HBO drama, followed by this nobody anticipated the mid-season turn of events. Forget about following the Kardashians. Following King Harris turned into the internet wasn't a new spectator sport, observing, consuming each pixel snapshot, as well as shaky rebel vultures during a celebrity barbecue. Nothing spreads more quickly. Let's face it. As opposed to a celebrity breakdown encased in puzzle. Let's start with the meme. Oh, the meme. King's farewell occurred within hours of everywhere. His final over the image of the Avengers Endgame. Another took Simba's place, sobbing over King's visage in a Mufasa with a caption, "Don't go, King." If you're on Twitter or X, delusional and Elon turned the circumstance into a full-fledged comedy festival. Sarcasm and tragedy clashed at an award show. Harder than Kanye. Get ready for the celebrity reactions. A few celebrities went into full Hallmark mode. Using glitter filters to publish prayer sand emojis of angels. Others are less gentle. Bui never succeeded at holding back. Supposedly while live streaming, "Dude, you all take things at face value." That most likely, the boy's recording a diss track, backstage at the moment. He was ridiculed by fans, but silently questioned whether he was correct. In the meanwhile, some shrewd rappers found a free promotion, grabbed it, and tweeted, "King Harris got y'all." For example, Sentinel. "But why you're still here, leave stream my new song." Which is sleazy but clever. Marketing. Naturally. The critics of the Harris family rushed out. "Tell me. It was like Christmas morning. He only wants attention, yelled. Cutting together moments of his parting with previous interviews in which he boasted regarding clout. At that point, the narrative reversed. Was this a request for assistance or a call for assistance lines? However, the largest one fans began analyzing, it was shocking. His own words. Screenshots that were leaked of King's messages contained lines of poetry. About load, heritage, and treachery of his last name, and immediately there were wild claims, with some claiming he was disparaging his father. According to some, it alluded to industrial meat. Of course, the most popular population on the internet, conspiracy theorists emerged. Asserting that he was revealing the worst aspects of hip-hop. It seems that when a famous person sneezes, the Illuminati get held accountable. The farewell wasn't merely a goodbye. It developed into a fully functional digital inquiry. Consider CSI Instagram edition with investigators who have never the fans slowed down and left their bedrooms. Clips, one after the other, as if they were deciphering the JFK video. Examine high size. Morse code is 3 blinks. Seeking assistance. Complete insanity. And precisely when things couldn't be much more bizarre, the twist in the hospital. Rumors circulated King Harris had been taken in a hurry to theater, sending the internet in mid-farewellsums dropped into DEFCON 1 meltdown mode. Hazy images of ambulances in parking lots, unrelated blogs with names like hip hop diva _42 alleged unique leaks from nurses. The headline yelled, "Doctors hurry to save King Harris. The worst is feared by fans." But the worst part is that the hospital claimed I saw him laughing while using his phone. After a few minutes, the story begins. Flipped at IHOP more quickly than a pancake. Was he defending himself or merilitraling the internet as a whole? Enter Thenergy. Let the pandemonium begin. TikTok with the explosion of toke parodies. Users acting out hospital scenes with fictitious masks of oxygen and subtitles like as POV your King Harris's farewell. But also preparing your upcoming mixtape on YouTube. Hours were spent watching gossip channels, taking advantage of every rumor as if it were freeway Faye. In the meantime, King Harris followed clout and Oscar on the trend. Deserving. And as fans debated what was produced and what was real. The stillness of the family made everything 10 times worse. Since quiet on the internet implies shame rather than privacy, make the situation even more chaotic. Other celebrities started making disparaging remarks without mentioning names. One person wrote on Twitter, "Clout is the most harmful substance." Another person shared a melancholy selfie in black and white with a single tear emoji, as it seems that's how people everywhere say I carry. But I also require involvement. King Harris was more than just a popular subject. He was a cultural. His farewell had leaped from the earthquake. Good Morning and hip-hop blogs to CNN anchors in America are posing the question. Why is the internet and King Harris both laughing and crying? And after that, there were the ardent supporters devoted to the core. They wrote to defend him like family, organizing candlelit tick and opening letters toke vigils, including the creation of GoFundMe pages with the heading Save King Harris. Keep in mind that nobody truly understood what they were collecting funds for. Reason had formally exited the discussion once the mayhem began, its tipping point when audio leaks purportedly appeared. King's voice said, "You guys don't give a damn when I'm around. But when I'm gone, you'll notice." Boom, mic internet explosion, drop. And fans critics rolled their eyes and shed tears. The Harris family has yet to speak. It seemed to be a transition between keeping House of Cards up with the Kardashians and a feature on WW's retirement. Fans were worn out, perplexed, and utterly addicted. However, this is the brutal reality. King Harris accomplished something no one else could in his lane. He took control of Theonline. In a time when scandals appear in a day, his farewell became into a story that would not perish endless cycle of theories, memes, indignation, as well as emotional collapses, the most terrifying aspect. No one was certain if it was truly over, since as fans began to wipe away their tears and argue. His earnestness. Murmurs started that last saying goodbye was not the end. It was the start of something larger. A larger decline, a worse scandal, and a greater legacy move. What if the second phase was a hurricane? The aftermath followed, although not serenity and tranquility. It seemed as though the internet was abandoned, scavenging rubble for the most juicy rumors could locate. The last goodbye to King Harris changed, rather than simply ceasing to trend. It changed and spread to every part. Offsuck as the scandalized version of an apocalypse of zombies. The first there was an aftershock when the Harris family broke their silence at last. But instead of a well-written public relations statement, fans received strange half-sentences that were removed. Messages on Twitter and one dubious Instagram tool. One passage from the Bible and a candle classic emoji. And no context. Was it the internet that went crazy? Verification, denial, or simply a cunning method to maintain the tension. Critics sharpen their blades. Commentators on YouTube additionally, late-night podcasters charged the Harris dynasty is accused of profiting off tragedy. Pundit likened it to monopoly funds in the attentional bank. Another, if Shakespeare wrote clout, says this would be Act 5 of Chase Plays. But here's the gag. Savage. Whether you believe King Harris was on the decline, plotting, or simply offering the best revamp, one thing remained constant. The fans had already suffered emotional harm. Who sobbed uncontrollably and felt very exhausted. Betrayed. The doubters who made fun of Haim appeared callous all of a sudden. If that health, the panic was real. The distinction between truth and yet the performance was so hazy that even seasoned gossip bloggers came clean. I'm not sure if I should laugh, cry, or simply create a thumbnail. Next came thief and backlash. Thousands of people vowed they were permanently done with him. His social overflowing with furious and unfollow emojis and heartfelt farewell videos, but ironically, amidst all of that, his statistics skyrocketed in anger. Stress rose. Google Trends was dominated by his name, each and every reaction video. Blog and Nema thrust him more into the public eye, allegedly desired to depart. That it was cancel him? The paradox of contemporary celebrity, he only gets better. Behind the scenes. Connections were said toe-strained to get the word out that Tiny and T were arguing over how to deal with the some whispered that King's Storm siblings felt excluded as they observed the entire Harris was taken over by chaos. Spotlight. According to industry insiders, labels were avoiding contact, not due to incompetence, but because he was living evidence that he had turned radioactive, even negative. Publicity may still be fantastic. Promotion. Followed by the most bizarre turn of events, people understood that this was more than just no longer King Harris. His alleged larger fire had been stoked by farewell. All of a sudden, everyone was discussing the poisonous cycle between mental health and celebrity shelf, as well as the constant desire for attention online. It was discussed on talk shows. It was analyzed by think pieces. Headliness questioned, are we the cause of the king? The collapse of Harris? Additionally, the internet did it ate another, as it always does. Famous person alive, but right before the storm, King Harris began to settle, came back alive, self-assured and unrepentantly arrogant. His return, a live stream naturally. So what's what a farewell story is about if you didn't become a rapper messiah again? On Instagram Live? Supporters anticipated a sincere regrets, or at the very least an clarification. Rather, King grinned, joked that they were the most popular patient in the hospital ever, and teased Q Global Meltdown, a new song. Cheering supporters referred to him as a brilliant. He used the internet ashes. Detractors were furious, accusing him of feel sorry for clout, and the others, we were too preoccupied with amusing memes, likening him to Tupac's death faking, late at night. The ripple effect was crazy. He was blasted by the hosts. And brands dropped sly references to his advertisements and farewell. Rappers called him names and hurled shade. Goodbye. Clout Messiah and King. His name came an abbreviation for doing the absolute most. But the wild fact is this, love whether you like him or not. King Harris had changed who he was overnight. Yesterday, he was merely the dramatized son of T. He was a headline-grabbing mess now, the magnet that stopped the world scrolling. From ambient sounds to breaking, from an obscure name to fans of a brand you couldn't ignore, wondered what would happen next. If the farewell was that? What's the tangled reality, a diss track, or a sequel show? A documentary on Netflix called Final the King. Harris' narrative is over. There were countless options and a little frightening. Since this is the reality, scandal didn't end. Instead, it changed in Toked too. Although his reputation may be damaged, his sky of relevance. And in the merciless, all that matters is the game of fame. If King's departure was sincerical for assistance, a well-planned stunt, or somewhere in the middle, one item's unquestionable. He executed he made the internet take notice. He caused us to quarrel, giggle, and meme like it was essential to our survival. And that myth true legacy is friends. That's it. The supposedly final The Farewell of King Harris the tragedy wasn't truly farewell. Transformed into a meme generator. The electronic The Super Bowl disaster that made it the halftime spectacle resembles a school production, let's face it. Though, you didn't watch entire stories since you were concerned regarding his health. You kept an eye out for the turmoil, the conflict and the emotional whiplash, as well as the pure amusement of observing a last collapse into one of the most outrageous story turns since Game of Thrones failed to deliver. Now, let's bargain. If you gasped, laughed, or even had one side eye amid this craziness, press that like button as if it were owed to you. Money, like King Harris. Smash subscribes, destroyed the web, and don't just go ahead and browse. Leave your theories and their marks. Did this actually break down Orth's decade's best performance? I read hotter than the tea they're drinking. Thanksgiving. Stuffing from Grandma. And keep in mind that there is yet hope. Next week. Next month, tomorrow, and there are more controversies in the works. Where it will initially touch down. Here, where we analyze drama more thoroughly than the Kadishan divorce attorney, so it's time Totho's alerts turned on. Due to the we don't sleep amidst chaos, and neither do we expresses where scandals happen, never pass away. Celebrities act as though they observe. You also have a front row seat Toch meltdown and give a last clap back. Goodbye that never seems to end. Until stay filthy, be inquisitive, and keep an eye out since the upcoming scandal isolated already.